Listening to AJR made my depression worse.
Another bad album, I gotta listen to it, but you're on my doctor. Now I see why you don't listen to this shit. Now I don't listen to it either, but now I gotta tell you my thoughts in a shocking sentence. I just fucking blow my brains out because the shit is so awesome. You know that I try my best. Bitch, I'm a shoe. It's the best of my career.
AJR bad. Where's my million subscribers? If you've been on the music commentary side of YouTube, then you've certainly stumbled across a treasure trove of videos from guys lampooning these groups' music to uncontested support from other sweaty white dudes who have nothing better to do. But why are they so easy to hate? Why do these three nerdy looking guys inspire so much vitriol and guttural hatred from hardcore music fans and the general public alike? That is what we will be discussing on this second episode of the Bad Album Mockery.
Our story begins in the suburbs of Manhattan, where brothers Adam, Jack, and Ryan met, put their first initials together to form the creatively named pop band AJR. AJR got their big break in 2013 after years of busking in Washington Square Park after releasing their massive hit single, I'm Ready, tweeting the song out to around 80 various celebrities, hoping that one of them would give them a chance. One of these people was the Australian singer and, to put it lightly, failed director Sia. Sia contacted her manager Steve Greenberg, former president of Columbia Records and current CEO of S-Curve Records, who then agreed to begin co-managing the group as they remain an independent act. With this new manager to help push their music, the song gradually climbed up to number 65 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart and to number 5 on Australia's chart, going on to be certified platinum internationally. On the surface, I'm Ready is just a generic early 2010s pop song about owning the night and arriving behind a hashtag sign. However, if you dig a little bit deeper by simply listening to the song, you'll notice that it's actually a very painful listen. Not only is it way too long for a dumb party song at 4 minutes, but paced to feel like 40, but its abhorrent integration of a SpongeBob sample, cheese-coated corny lyrics, and squeaky vocals turn a simple idea for a song into one that becomes very annoying very fast. Somehow finding an audience with one of the worst songs I've ever heard, the group set to making their debut record. Recording the entire thing in their living room, AJR continued their creative naming streak by titling their album Living Room and releasing it in 2015. Given its user score of 17 out of 100 on Album of the Year, it's safe to say that it wasn't exactly well received. Reviews consist of, if I had $1 for every time AJR made a good song, I'd have $0. This is what happens when you put the annoying theater kids in a place where they have everything they could ever want to make a radio hit at their disposal. And, my personal favorite, what the actual fuck? That's not to say that nobody liked it, however, because there are positive reviews from kids who were blown away by their overdramatic yet underwritten style of music. This review from Google reads, I love AJR and this album does not fail to entertain. Their first hit album, it's got songs like I'm Ready and Pitchfork Kids that give it even better aspects. Before going on to put numbers next to the songs to show their appreciation of them rather than attempting to describe what makes each of them tick. Personally, I have no opinion on this album currently since it's not the focus of this video and I'm choosing not to listen to it. I've already heard the big hit, the god-awful yodeling of Thirsty, and the very questionable lyrics of Woody Allen. Saying that you feel just like Woody Allen isn't exactly a good thing when his sexual predation came to light almost 20 years prior. Instead, I would like to focus on the sophomore album, The Click. Released in 2017, The Click attempts to combat one-hit wonder accusations by creating formulaic pop tunes about the troubles the group experienced in their adolescence. Whether it's a song about the disappointment of your first kiss, succumbing to peer pressure, or thinking you're cooler than everyone else because you don't indulge in the devil's lettuce, AJR tries their hardest to relate to the struggles of the average preteen. Given that the album is about adolescence, The Click in the title sounds like it could mean click or not feeling like you're part of the cool kids or something meaningful, right? No. The Click is named after the clicking of the metronome on a few tracks. Another brilliant title. The album opens up with the lone clicking metronome of Overture until an aggressively mixed piano pops into frame. So far there's only 2 instruments, yet the mix is already clipping. Not a great sign. Other than the amateur mixing, the song sounds decent enough until the beat drops and we get introduced to the wonkiest awful trumpet of all time. The song is supposed to show off different elements of each song, but nothing meshes together very well. Not the electronic beat, not the strings, and certainly not the extremely high falsettos they try reaching, which I like to call the pterodactyl vocals. This song works best as a warning to anyone not liking what's presented at the start. If you don't like the spoke step breakdown at 208 or the cheap Audacity quality autotune at the 230 mark, you may want to turn back now. It doesn't get much better from here. That song transitions with 4 clicks into a track that plagued me on TikTok for a few months, The Good Part. It immediately opens up with one of the worst aspects of the entire album, the pterodactyl vocals. When I first heard this, I thought I was somehow listening to a parody someone uploaded on AJR's official Spotify, where nothing is different except for these screechy ass vocals, but no. It's meant to sound like Cupcake's moans. For the most part, this is a standard, boring pop tune, which does make it one of the most bearable on the entire album, but it still suffers from the terrible elements many of the other tracks succeeding it has. For instance, the chorus sample of the song is a classical piece from 1731 by Bach, Air on the G string. Given that they're lazily implementing such an interesting tune, do they step up their game at all? Of course not. This is AJR. This track is about how it doesn't feel like the best years of their lives, even though it's supposed to, so they want to skip to the good part and pass all the hard work it takes to get to a better place in life. It's a simple topic and one that most people can relate to, but then they sing, "Can we skip to the good part?" and we're launched right into the worst part of the entire song. The pterodactyl vocals over the most compressed, hollow, and overblown electronics of all time. The chorus has the metronome in it too, but it clips through the mix and drowns out the pitched up counting vocals, so why is it even here? The vocal line of the pre-chorus is actually fine though, so I guess there's something. The song ends with a nice enough piano outro that, again, is mixed unreasonably aggressively. I know it can be hard to fit anything into your mix when you're filling with faux vinyl crackling, but fucking try harder.
But I'm weak, and what's wrong with that?
Track 3 is weak. No, I'm not calling the boneless production and extremely surface level songwriting weak. I meant the song is called weak, not that the song is weak, although it really is. Weak is about succumbing to peer pressure and doing things you don't really want to do just because everyone around you is. Pretty important topic. What does it sound like?
But I'm weak.
No subtlety, huh? There's also some random uncredited female vocalist on the pre-chorus for 6 words. I don't know why one of these guys couldn't do it, but okay. I'd say that this song becomes tolerable during the second verse with the glitchy electronic synth driving the beat, but then that chorus hits and ruins the entire song yet again. And the bridge is bad too, with the wonky ass trumpet at about 212 being mixed way too loud. It's actually unlistenable. And then, when you thought it couldn't get any worse, it modulates up a key for the final chorus for no reason whatsoever, making everything more grating, especially the screechy ass pterodactyl vocals, which are now almost higher than the fucking stratosphere. By the time it's finally over, I've become a devout Christian because, thank God, I don't think I could handle another second.
Won't you help me sober up? Growing up, it made me numb.
After that unholy mess, we get one of the better straightforward pop tunes with Sober Up, featuring Mr. Weezer himself, Rivers Cuomo. The track opens up nicely enough with a lone cello line, with Jack smoothly croning over about how he hopes that you're missing him because it makes him feel young. Whatever the fuck that means. The meaning and message of the song seems convoluted at best, but from a pure sonic standpoint, the intro to this song is good. It's stripped back and not aggressively trying to fit 500 instruments in all at once. Jack's singing sounds good. What could go wrong? The fucking chorus. With no anticipation whatsoever, we're tossed into a whirlwind of acoustic instrumentation and doubled vocals. Why? The verses on the song sound good with this stripped back instrumentation, but for whatever reason, it's decided that we need to create a confusing mess of noise so that our 12-year-old audience with a negative attention span will skip the song. Or was the choice made because you thought you had the ADHD? Oh wait, we're not even at that part yet. Instead, 28 seconds into the song, you've lost me so much with this vapid chorus that I'm 4 tracks ahead. Maybe Mr. Weezer, the brains behind such hits as Buddy Holly, another Weezer song, maybe he can save the song.
My favorite color is you.
God, even the fucking Weezer man doesn't sound very interested. Sure, he has more engaging vocals, with it frying at points and not being entirely unchanging, but he really wrote one of the least interesting melodies of all time, sent it to these guys, and it was just like, check please. At least Jack does put more energy into his following verse, but it's not much.
So we're caught up in drama. Everybody's talking, everybody's talking.
Drama is probably the most redundant song of this entire album, even more so than every other redundant ass track. It's essentially a rehash of Weak, but with a shitty trap beat on the chorus that blows out the entire mix. Lyrically, the song asks, why have all my friends become so drama-centric? But with some of the worst writing imaginable. Recently, he said that she said that we said some shit that you wouldn't believe. Recently, he said that she said that we said that he said some shit about me. Wow. So deep. And to punctuate how much emotional turmoil he's in, Jack decides to try a falsetto on the second verse, and it goes over about as thin and squeakly as you'd expect it to. In essence, Drama is almost a carbon copy of Weak. It even drives that feeling further with the lead vocal line hinting at a chord change on the chorus. We don't actually get one, thankfully, and the song ends no better than it began, concluding with a painful step outro.
You say I turned out fine.
Nothing about Drama hints toward emotional weight of any kind, and yet we're meant to find the next track turning out to be deep. From its layers of strings and its attempt at being a massive soundscape, which of course is ruined by its overcompression, it's clear that this is supposed to be some emotional powerhouse. Can you guess what the song is about? Yeah, it's about how his life doesn't feel like a fucking Disney movie. Seriously. The entire second verse is directly talking about how his first kiss wasn't as magical as it's shown in shit like Beauty and the Beast and Princess of the Frog, because I assume we'd never be able to get a human to kiss him with lyrics like these. In my mind, I thought the birds would sing and sparks would fly, but it's just quiet. No shit. To be generous, I'll assume you're about like 15, the average first kiss age, and that you're talking about kissing a human woman, not cattle. With those things in mind, why would you think that would happen? Up to that point, had your life been a Disney movie? Clearly not, since you talk about your mother later on, so she couldn't have been shot like Bambi's. After a while, the song cools down to build up again to one of the most explosive and emotionally overwhelming instrumental moments of the record, or at least it attempts to be. I've listened to this record more times than I've ever needed to for this, and every time, without fail, it's just empty. Of course, the big vocal refrain of this moment is I'm a little kid and so are you, so it's obviously kind of hard to take any hint of emotion seriously on this thing.
I didn't smoke no grass today, but that's 'cause I'm the one on stage.
The sequencing on this album is probably one of the worst I've ever heard. I understand the target audience of this is neoliberal preteens with diminishing attention spans, so waterboarding them in a singular emotion probably isn't the best idea commercially, but the amount of drastic tonal shifts in this is absolutely nightmarish. This transition is the first offender of such, going from a heartfelt tune about the struggles of adolescence to a song about not smoking weed on No Grass Today. I could talk about the sound of this track, about how overcompressed and lifeless it feels, but at this point in the record, you should know what you're getting. That doesn't excuse the mind-numbing spoke step portion starting around the 2:55 mark, which genuinely made me consider never listening to music again. Now, the worst part of this one is the lyrics, trying to push their closed-minded politics on their listeners. Personally, I don't give a fuck if you smoke. It doesn't impact my lungs. It's entirely your choice whether or not you want to put substances to your body, and that shouldn't be dictated by some guy who probably has no issues with cigarettes, which actually cause cancer. The way they try to convey this message isn't even nuanced or written in an interesting way, with the song boiling down to, I don't smoke, and I don't think it should be legal for people to smoke. I think people who smoke are stupid and lazy and lame as hell, but you do you, dumbass. Yeah, I don't smoke weed because I actually have a life, you punk ass bitch. Are you the one on stage squawking like an extinct bird? I didn't think so. And in one of the last refrains of the track, he tries saying, I'm not narcissistic, even though the entire song is about how he's better than you because he doesn't smoke marijuana. If you're not obsessed with yourself, then why do you sing Keep Doing Me during that hellscape in the spoke step section? Sounds pretty narcissistic to me.
So how am I supposed to fit this in 3 minutes and 30 seconds?
3:30 is just filler, and so I won't waste a lot of time discussing it. The chorus is practically non-existent, the verse melodies are unengaging, and the dubstep bass throughout the entire song is just fucking annoying. The only thing slightly notable about this is a couple awful lyrics like, if I ever started rapping, they'd be laughing, they won't believe me, but I got so much I want to say, so I'm thinking rappers, they got it easy. Odd statement on such a vapid and meaningless song. There's also the golden lyric of, I thought I had the ADHD, but that's a real thing and I'm just lazy. I thought I had the ADHD. Oh no, don't hang around Brian too long, you might catch the ADHD.
I just really wanna call my dad.
Jack and the boys try pulling at our heartstrings again with Call My Dad, an a cappella vocoder reliant song about wanting to call my dad. No, their dad, not my dad. My dad's a registered sex offender. Somehow, even with the vocals being the only thing in the song with a vocoder effect that gets really old really fast, they're still mixed so aggressively and clipped. How? In the narrative of the song, it's hard to tell if AJR is supposed to be kids or grown adults since it's about wanting to call their father after going to parties and shit. Hit some bars, saw some brawls, and found a house to sleep. Forgot my retainer, could you not be mad at me? How old are you? You're obviously at least 21 since you went to a bar. So why would it matter to your father if you lost your retainer? What, is it because daddy pays the bills? Is it hard being a spoiled rich kid, Jack? You hope your daddy doesn't deduct $1,000 from your allowance? It's hard to care about literally anything the song says when this is clearly an adult singing about being an adult through the sheltered view of a spoiled child. Also, the falsetto vocals added in the end just fucking suck. And so, with another attempt at an emotional moment on this record, it's, of course, followed up by one of the most obnoxious.
Where my haters, I don't got 'em, I'm not famous, no.
Take the tone-deaf switch up from earlier on the record and multiply it by 20. And that's how this transition feels. Just monstrously jarring. And this song is far worse, possibly the worst idea on this entire torturous hellscape of an album. My biggest issue with this one isn't even the sound. The overcompression is like white noise at this point. No, the biggest issue here is the attitude. The song is about how they're not famous and how they're essentially nobodies. Are they? Well, all of their albums except Living Room have charted highly on the Billboard charts. They have had several charting singles, and oh yeah, Jack was a child actor on Broadway. Fucking Broadway. Most people won't even be on the street of Broadway, and this guy who's singing about being irrelevant was a performer on one of the most sought after stages in all of the world. Also, like I said near the start of the video, Sia, one of the best performing artists of all time, referred you to your manager and made you one of the most successful independent acts of all time. How the fuck is that not famous?
Who are we to wonder where we're going?
Speaking of not being famous, the chorus of Netflix Trip sounds like AJR is trying to relive their Broadway days. It sounds almost exactly like a trashy musical number, and yes, I know not all the members were on Broadway, but being the whitest, most privileged archetypes ever, they all probably love shit like Hamilton. It shows. This song at its core is also about the whitest concept for a song ever, being about chronicling their life through the American sitcom The Office. I had my first crush in season 2. She passed me notes and filled our hands with glue, and in my corduroys we'd walk to school. I sat and crossed my legs like Jim would do. She moved away. I was on season 3. It hit my heart so hard I'd hardly speak. But I could find some peace and privacy, a paper company to sit with me. Read those lyrics and tell me that you can take them seriously. This entire song just feels like their attempt to write a comeback to everyone who says, oh, it's just the show, with them even saying so in the end. But guess what? Is just the show. It's just a product which has made millions off of merchandise. None of the cast, nor the producers, directors, writers, or anyone else involved know you nor care about you. You made the money. They are not your friends. It's just a show. Grow up.
Way up to the sky.
You may have noticed the pacing of the video speed up quite a bit at this point. That's because we're finally on the penultimate track and I want this nightmare to end. Weirdly though, Bud Like You sounds like it's trying to be a grandiose, jovial, Disney animated number with its sea shanty-esque group vocal chorus that comprise the majority of the song. And when it isn't the chorus, we get stupid lines about how they're staring at the disco ball and not understanding why someone would invest in one. Bruh, a spherical mirror that reflects bright lights back into your Peter Pan syndrome eyes is not an investment. You won't get a 400% return on disco coin. AJR's pterodactyl vocals hit a new low on this song, with them literally sounding like SpongeBob on the chorus, which I didn't even think was possible at this point. Song bad. Let's just fucking finish this. Finally, the last song of this Torture Festival record, Come Hang Out. It starts off with some of the thinnest vocals on the entire project before jumping into the offensively bad electronic instrumental of the first verse. There's not really much of note on the lyrical aspect here, aside from the lines, last album's sales could have been higher. Maybe that's why I haven't seen my friends in a while. They're at a bar down in the Bahamas while I'm doing promo trying to blow up in Chicago. We get it. Oh, look at me. I'm a spoiled rich kid and even I have sadness. Fuck you! The entire song feels like it's trying to be a grand gargantuan finish to a masterpiece with its full instrumentation, but like with every other song in the project, the overcompression completely strips it of all life and character, and it just ends up sounding like white noise. Present, but completely forgettable. And ironically, the outro being forgettable really does help to emphasize how empty the entire experience is. And with one of the weakest choruses here, the album finally comes to a close.
The Click is by far one of the worst experiences I've ever had with a piece of music, but somehow it managed to gain AJR a passionate following. Since this record, they've gone on to put out Neo Theater and OK Orchestra, both of which being bashed by critics while still doing numbers, reaching number 8 and number 10 respectively on the Billboard 200 albums chart. It seems like AJR's music has been getting more listenable based on the general rise of user and critic scores on Album of the Year and different congregate sites, but at the current rate, it'll be years, possibly decades before they put out a piece of music anyone can say is like good. And as it is, AJR is one of the worst groups working today, in my opinion, and the Click is one of the worst albums of all time. Thanks for watching. What's this? I took so long to record this video that AJR put out their newest album, The Maybe Man, which had a user score of 80 on Album of the Year for like a few weeks until people actually listened to it, and it's gradually fallen to like a 46 out of 100. Surely this is a quality album that only got a critical thrashing once the mindless anti-AJR mob got wind of it and then just review bombed it forever. So why don't I give it a listen? Oh what? Oh what? Oh wow! Wow, it's the same shit. Hello, thank you for watching the video. This took a while to make, mainly because the AJR music actually did worsen my depression. If I do end up making it the title, it was not clickbait. This album made me so much worse listening to this and constantly having to re-listen over and over to take notes, formulate a script, write, edit the whole thing, and then for a while I was just putting off editing the video because I did not want to listen to the clips of AJR audio. As you can tell in my commentary, just thinking about those boys pissed me off, and I think the video turned out fine. Hopefully you guys think so too. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button. I've been thinking about starting a Patreon to get some more income and help put out some more exclusive content for people who want to support the channel in that way. Definitely let me know down in the comments if that'd be something you'd be interested in. $5 a month would get like bonus content, you know, stuff like that. You know how Patreon works. Anyway, yeah, hit the subscribe button. I am planning on making the next one about Chance the Rapper, The Big Day. But yeah, who knows when that's going to come out.